What is up, everyone? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hope you guys are having a fantastic weekend. Today, we're not alone. We have my brother from another mother, father, and grandfather.
Grandmother, grandfather,
And
everybody.
from another country, but he's my fellow Romanian, Odd One Gaming, joining us on the channel today, guys. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Yo, happy Sunday, first of all. Yep, doing good. I'm ready to get into this collab.
Awesome. So, guys, for a while now, the game was quite stale in terms of content. Like, there's no secret, everybody knows it. The last few patches that we got in terms of updates, like the Shogun, the Iron Twins Fortress, then we had the Sand Devil's Necropolis, was now really the most desirable content. And I feel like this time around, Raid will actually make a massive spin-off here and bring the thing that every single one of us wanted in terms of content. Now, there's no secret. Probably you will agree with me or you might disagree, but one of the best content we've ever received in the game, hands down, is the Doom Tower. Like, honestly, what do you think?
Yeah, honestly, it's after the, I guess, the clan boss and stuff like that. Doom Tower's my favorite one as well because, well, it's so complex. It has so different things, and in a way, I'm sad that they stopped this. I feel like they could give us 3 more rotations at least, and people would still love it. It's definitely the best thing that they put in the game.
Yeah, I would want to see at least one more rotation with the Dark Fane, and just to be able to farm the little set, right? Is an amazing upgrade to the Savage. So would be nice to see more. But even rewards wise, like, you're actually getting fairly decent rewards. Like, you cannot say that you're not getting good rewards. It seems like there's no way to actually see it. But you're getting Sacred Shards, you're getting Legendary Skill Tomes, you're getting energy every single day from here. You're getting something by doing this content. 2 different difficulties. Now, in the future, probably it's not going to happen this year, maybe not even next year, or it might happen 1 year from now. Would be nice to have something like Nightmare Doom Tower, Nightmare Faction Wars. We'll keep talking about this and higher difficulty in the clan boss. But till then, we're going to have to wait, guys, because we have the City of Sarnos coming to Raid Shadow Legends, the new Curse City, and honestly, I know people, they've been skeptical since the beginning. I've been skeptical a bit as well, and I thought I would be very pay to win after we heard all the audio files that they sent us and the way they kind of like expressed themselves. But it's not the case, and I'm happy to say that I was wrong with that, and I'm happy to see that they are bringing something that we wanted to see. Now, what we know so far about all this content, guys, is that we're gonna have roughly 100 stages, okay? And this will be a monthly rotation. This will require some sort of daily keys or something. All we know so far is that it doesn't require energy at all, And having all these stages will definitely keep us engaged. Now, the next thing that we know is that we will encounter old bosses, but in the format of duos. So rather than just fighting the dragon alone, you're going to fight the dragon and the ice golem all together. Now, PLARIUM mentioned quite a few times that they felt like it will be way too overwhelming if they're just bringing in like 20 new bosses in a go. And it's not just that, but I feel like it's going to be very costly. It's going to be very time consuming for them as a company to develop 20 new bosses, right? Like, what do you think about that part?
Yeah, I feel like just trying to bring like 10, 20 new bosses in a go would just be too crazy. I mean, the most that we had, I guess, was something like the Hydra, where they brought 6 heads, or we had the Hard Dungeons, where they brought 4 kind of new bosses, or even with the Doom Tower, 2 maximum. So, yeah, it would be impossible, and I don't think that would be a good choice to just come with 10 of them, and that's a good luck discovering this. So have fun, we're out. We're out. See you in 2 years after you figure it out.
Yeah, so
it sounds good like this. I feel like it's good to, put a different spin of the current bosses to have them in there, and then just bring like one new thing that makes it good for a start. We don't know if this is gonna be the end or if we're gonna get more. I hope we're gonna get more. So it's a good start.
So from what I understood, I think we will get more. Yeah. So I think it comes in 2 different difficulties, if I remember it correctly. I think they mentioned something like that. So it will be 2 different difficulties to start off with, and I think they can do different rotations on this as well, guys, like the Doom Tower. I don't see why they won't be able to create different rotations in the future. And the whole idea is we have 4 different areas right here. At the middle is the tower, the boss, the Eclipse Tower. And you're gonna have to collect keys from the other locations in order to get there, and you're gonna be able to collect all sorts of loot. Now, I think next week we can expect the patch, if most probably. But in the meantime, we can actually have a look at the new mythical boss, and I think that this is what people wanted as a challenge. Okay, something that is hard to beat, but not to be a paywall. Something that will reward your will reward you for having such a big challenge. I kind of lost my my words there, but let's actually have a quick look at this. Like, look at the boss. Looks a bit like Anchorite.
Yeah.
And he's a mythical one, guys. I've told you in a video like a week ago or so. We're gonna have mythical bosses. It just made sense. Duo bosses, it kind of like made 100% sense to have them in the game, But then we have the skills, and I want to dive into the skills, guys. This is literally like reading a whole book, okay? Like, this is just one of the forms, and we have another one after. We're gonna go over the skills quick, just to kind of like know what to expect from this. And let me know in the comments down below, do you think that this new content is what will save Raid Shadow Legends? Like a lot of us, we've been saying for a while, is make it or break it. So the next patch for Raid is what decides if the game is here to stay strong, how the big guys in the company are saying that they are working on player retention, or they're just trying to milk more quick and bounce out once they're done with that. But I really think that they are here to stay based on what I've seen so far, and based on other things that I know that they are coming, and I'm not really allowed to discuss about them now, but stay tuned on the channel for the next couple of days. So here we have Amyas, the Lunar Archon. Now, a lot of people call this guy in all sorts of different ways, which they're not PG to mention them right on the stream.
One letter, the difference one letter can do, right?
Exactly. But what do you think about this boss so far? Like, he definitely has a lot of skills. Probably you've went a bit over the skills before. I haven't really read all the skills, guys. Just briefly checked a couple of things, and my god, he's really going to be a challenge. Think about a mythical boss. Definitely very, very powerful, and I'm looking forward to knock this bad boy down, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely, from what I read, obviously it's gonna take us a few read-throughs, a few of like testing or whatnot, once we're gonna be able to, before we can learn everything. Because like you said, it's a whole novel to read. There's a lot, but I like the spin that that we have on it, like the way that the interactions, the skills, and all that. So it looks like a good start. Like, I'm really pleased with the challenge, so to speak, but I guess we're gonna see more once we go through it, what I mean about that.
Yeah, he's kind of like Crixia, because Crixia does with one form one thing and does the opposite with the other form. I feel like he's kind of in the same sort of situation from what I've noticed. But Waxing Potence, guys, attacks all enemies, increases the damage inflicted by this skill by 10% for each buff on Amyas. Also heals Amyas by 100% of the damage dealt, includes damage dealt to shield buffs. So this screams to me heal reduction. Bring me heal reduction, because this is the basic skill. So heal reduction champions will actually see quite a bit of a value surge. And by the way, we will be doing a different video on Odd Ones Gaming talking about champions that will have a value surge. So definitely head over and check that out as well. If you want to head over with the next skill, Odd One, so I'm not just the only person talking
for sure. Yeah, have a breather. I got you. Okay, so I guess he's A2. Lunar Storm, 3 turns cooldown, attacks all enemies. Before attacking, increases the duration of all buffs and decreases the duration of all debuffs on Amyas by 1 turn. Heals Amyas by 20% of his max HP. The heal increases by 5% for each buff that has its duration increased. Also, fills Amyas' turn meter by 10% for each debuff that has its duration decreased. So, again, kind of like the same as with the A1, you definitely want to get a heal reduction there, because otherwise he's never gonna die. He's gonna keep healing up.
Yeah, he will be very, very annoying actually. And the good part is that you're gonna need to constantly, I mean the bad part, you're gonna constantly need to put a heal reduction. So preferably champions that have it on a short cooldown or something on a basic skill. And right now, funny enough, I feel like the old curse set would have been something interesting,
Here we go again.
I feel like
a frenzy.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been something now. I still prefer it the way it is with a Hex for Hydra. It's so much better. But it would be nice to have a curse set now that has 100% heal reduction,
That's true.
I think
That's true. That would
that
help.
mm. And I feel like he copied Anchorite's skills right here. Increases the duration, decreases the duration. Like, what are you doing, bro?
It does feel like that, but let's give them credit this time. Like I'm not gonna, I've been so negative in the last period. I don't want to do it. So let's say, okay, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't.
I know. I mean, it's fine. It's a boss. We didn't have a boss
Yeah, it's
doing this,
different. That's
So
true.
it's
It's
definitely
different.
pretty interesting. Then we have the rampant chaos, guys. This is the next thing right here because initially you kind of want to bring in a block buffs for this bad boy too because he's gonna put some things on himself. And how you may notice is all to do with his skill right here, which is a bit hard. The main thing that you would want to bring instead is have a champion that strips buffs constantly. You're not gonna get polymorphed in here, thanks God. And at the same time, have cleansers, have everything, but removes any block buffs, debuffs from Amius. And replaces them with immunity, lasting for 3 turns. Also removes any debuff negatively affecting stats and replaces them with a mirrored buff equivalent. So if you put decrease attack on the boss, when he's using this skill, he will replace it with increase attack. If you put heal reduction, he will replace it with weaken. If you put... no, I think it's a mistake here. Heal reduction will be replaced with continuous heal, and weaken will be replaced with strength. And they've just placed the words wrongly here. I was like, wait, that makes no sense. So it's pretty crazy because the buffs will be on for 3 turns. So you definitely need to have a champion that strips buffs. If not, you're in trouble because there's no way to put that heal reduction back if he already has immunity,
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting. Then places a stun debuff on all enemies except mythical champions for 1 turn. Thanks God I have no mythical champions. And forces all mythical champions to change form. So he's going to force all the mythicals to change form regardless if they want or not. Then finally fills Amius turns meter by 10% for each debuff converted into a buff by this skill. So you kind of, in a way, you want to avoid having too many debuffs on him, but at the same time, I feel like these are the most essential debuffs that you would want to have on him, So it's pretty important to bring them in,
I feel like one thing that's gonna be really important is to see how he prioritizes his skills, because some bosses don't start with the last one, some start with A2. So depending on how he does his buff or debuffs, we might have a way around it. Like maybe don't put block buffs the first time, but put the next one, or only put block buffs the first time, then strip and put the other one. So it's definitely going to be an interesting thing to test. And it seems like a challenge. I'm happy to see that. I want to have a challenge. I don't want everything to be like, easy clap, go in there, smash it, that's it.
No, I mean, so the game needs some very hard content to be completed. And I mean, you can argue it and say that the last 3 dungeons that they brought in, the Shogun and the rest, they were pretty challenging to start with, And I feel like they were challenging because of the limitation of what champions we can use. Not the Shogun necessarily, because that's pretty easy. You can beat it with so many different teams. But the other 2, they were more limited on what champions we were able to use against the bosses. So that kind of made it a bit like, you don't have Geomancer, well, that kind of sucks. You don't have Ninja with Godseeker and Iria, that kind of sucks, So I don't want to see that. I want to see something where we're like, okay, I have 50 champions that I can use in here, and it's a struggle. I love it. Right now, in Dragonair, I'm doing the Feymander, and it reminds me of the old faction wars in Raid. I'm loving it. It's so much... such a challenge and so time consuming, and it pisses me off so much, but I love it at the same time. It's crazy. That's what I want to experience again. Like we had that experience with faction wars and with the Doom Tower at the beginning.
With Doom Tower, think about. I remember how much everybody was for a month, 2-3 months. Everybody just kept working on those Doom Tower rotation. What's best for the bosses? People keep coming up with new ideas, new teams. That's the fun of it. When you have, like you mentioned, the other ones where it's just like you have this hero or not, that's it, you're screwed. That's not the fun. And I feel like, like you mentioned, this guy is gonna bring up some people to light. Some other ones who were like, man, now they can be good. They kind of do the same with the Hydra. Once they allowed us to use provoke on the Hydra heads, so many people came out of the vault and they're useful. So I feel like this is gonna be the same case for this boss as well.
100%. And I feel like for the whole content, like the entirety of the new series of Sarnos is definitely gonna bring a lot of vault champions out of it, guys. I can guarantee you that. Mark my words on it. And I think we're gonna be happy with that. Then moving over to the next skill, Odd One, if you want to dive into it.
Let's start with the passive first one. Rob in Moonlight. Whenever an enemy is healed, Amius also heals by 25% the value of the original heal. Doesn't work on heals from swapping HP and equalizing HP.
I'm gonna stop you right there for a second. Yeah, so I feel like champions like we have what's her name, Mother Sibel. We have Truat from the Dark Elves. Champions that equalize the HP. I feel like they would be really powerful here in a way or another to stop you from constantly healing back the boss. You know, I think that would be a nice touch actually. So I like that. I like to see that kind of like giving some value to those champions. You know.
Yeah, that's really good. And then also heals Amius by 100% of the damage inflicted against shield buffs. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
If a shield is removed by damage, Amius will heal equal to the full value of the shield. Oh my god. Whenever an enemy decreases a skill's cooldown with an artifact, accessory, mastery, or skill, also decreases the cooldown of Amius's Archon's Ascendant skill by 1 turn. So if we're just looking at the first part, again, it just keeps emphasizing on the power that heal reduction is going to have against this boss.
Yeah, massive.
Like, you really want that. Like, if you don't have heal reduction there, it's going to be a massive problem. But then the second part, that's going to be tricky, because think about how many people we have that have the Cycle of Magic Mastery.
I was going to say, I think
how many people have Reflex?
I think they need to give a free mastery reset. 100%, like.
Yeah, it's bomb all over again with Evil Eye.
Yeah, like this is gonna be pretty nasty actually, because you want to avoid having any of those in a way or another. Maybe you're gonna be able to exploit it with Kaimar or something that will reset the cooldowns, but it will actually bump this boss up pretty quick. And the next skill, which is the one that will actually be decreased at the start of his turn, places an Eclipse buff on him for 3 turns. Now, I don't think I have the information what an Eclipse buff does just yet, or I might be mistaken, but it's a new type of buff from what I'm seeing. This buff cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or allies. This skill will be on a 4-turn cooldown at the start of the battle, and whenever Amius transforms into his base form. Now, the passive effect here, which gives a massive value surge to Lydia, revives Amius with 30% HP and 50% turn meter when killed while under an Eclipse buff. This effect only activates with when Amius is killed in his alternate form. So you can dodge it by not killing him when he's putting this. You have a 1-turn window to kill him, basically. So I feel like that's too much of a hassle. You can use champions that block revive. Like we have Bloodgorge, we have Foley. I'm not sure how effective they will be against this boss, to be honest with you. I do feel like the best option, undisputedly, is going to be no one else but Lydia, right? Like having that power from her passive.
Yeah, but also, unless I didn't read it right, I think you can still use block buffs against this one. Because if it reads correctly, he only places Eclipse buff when he has a turn. Yeah. If somebody with the block buffs goes before, you can block that one. If it goes up, then you cannot remove it. So that's, again, it depends, because
it doesn't say it cannot be blocked. So this buff cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased. So that means that potentially
we might
block buffs would be another good option, or a good call on it. It makes more sense now with his A3 basically, you know.
Yeah.
And then we have the passives. Almighty Strength. Damage from skills that scale based on enemy max HP cannot exceed 5%, not 10%, so that's actually less. Then the Almighty Immunity, immune to all the crowd control debuffs, HP balancing effects, or increasing the cooldowns. Yeah. And he is immune to turn meter as well, from what I'm aware.
Then, yes, we checked that one as well. Like, it's, even though it doesn't say that, I think it's called Almighty something else.
Yeah,
the turn meter one. But yeah, we clarified that.
You cannot manipulate the turn meter.
Sorry, Cold Heart. Sorry.
Yeah. Awaken Weakness decreases the damage inflicted by the boss for each awakening level on the target champion. 2.5% for level 1 and 2, 5 for level 3 and 6, stacks up to 25%, and increases the damage received by the boss for each awakening level. 5% for level 1 and 2, 10 for 3 and 6, stacking up to 50%. So that is the very first form. This would be the base form, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Then moving over to the next one. it doesn't seem to have any different look.
Yeah, like visual or something.
I think it's just here. I would expect him in game to have something different a little bit. If not, it kind of like makes no sense to make him mythical.
Yeah, I don't know why, because like even in the small animation it showed the beginning, that looked like he changed form, but he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm the same.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I'm too sexy to change myself, you know.
Exactly.
If you don't like me, you change yourself, you know.
Exactly.
So I'll let you start with the first skill on this base, actually, the Abyssal Construct.
Yeah, so in his alternate form, he will do with the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore 100% of the target's defense. Ouch. Ouch.
Ouch.
Damage,
yeah.
damage increases by 20% for each debuff on the enemy. Decreases Emius's ignore defense effect for each awakening level on the target champion. Again, 5% level 1, 2, 10 for 3, 6, X up to 50. So again, awakening is gonna help. If this attack kills an enemy, instantly activates Emius's Maniacal Bedlam skill.
Ooh.
So this one sounds like it can hurt.
It hurts. This is a basic skill, man. So decrease attack, strengthen, shields are your friends here. 100%. You can run unkillable block damage 100%, don't get me wrong. They nothing ignores them from the basic skill, but later on you will see that the passive one actually is a passive that makes you kind of like to ignore them. So they're not gonna be the best things for the A1.
For this one,
Yeah, so strengthen will be and decrease attack, your best friends. Ally protection as well. Then we have the Blood Moon Vortex. On a 3-turn cooldown, guys. Attacks all enemies before attacking, increases the duration of all debuffs, and decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn. Increases damage inflicted by 5% of the target's max HP for each enemy buff that has its duration decreased. Stacks up to 50%. Also decreases each enemy's turn meter by 10% for each debuff that it has its duration increased. Reduces Emius decreased turn meter effect for each awakening level on target champions. 1% for level 1 and 2, 2 for level 3 and 6, stacking up to 10%. So it's gonna be pretty hard to counter that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if this 10% on him is additive or multiplicative when you have all these levels on your blessings. I think if it's just additive, it's kind of like countering the entire thing if you have awakenings on them, you know, blessings. If you don't, so it's something that I'm not sure to tell you till we don't try it out. But basically, is a potential that blessings would completely deny the turn meter, you know.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna have to check that one out, but it still sounds painful.
It does, because it does the opposite of the other skills. So now he's basically doing it to your team. So it's nasty, yeah.
Yeah, now we have, I guess, the A3 that's kind of connected to the A1. The Maniacal Bedlam, again, 3-turn cooldown, removes any block debuffs from enemies and replaces them with block buffs, debuffs lasting for 3 turns. So kind of, again, the opposite of his base form.
Yeah.
Also removes any buffs positively affecting stats and replaces them with their mirror debuffs. So again, same principle. Increase attack becomes decrease attack. Continuous heal becomes heal reduction. Strengthen becomes weaken. And all, I think it's going to be same with increase speed, decrease speed. So yeah, they're going to be mirror debuffs for 3 turns. Then, wait, there's more. Then places a sleep debuff on all enemies except mythical champions for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be blocked or resisted. Also, forces all mythical champions to change form. And again, there's more. Finally, fills Emius's turn meter by 10% for each buff converted into a debuff by this skill. So again, basically this one tells us you do not want to have buffs on you when he does the Maniacal Bedlam or if he kills somebody with an A1. This sounds crazy, man. I don't know. This sounds insane.
You need buffs to survive the A1 most probably. Yeah. And I feel like you need a cleanser. If you have a Battle Khazar might be coming in to do some good work. I haven't seen nothing about poison so far in his passives to be like damage reduced from poisons. So that sounds interesting, because even now, damage from skills that scale based on enemy max HP cannot exceed 5% of the boss's max HP when attacking the boss. I can't remember if the poison detonation is put in the same category, or either way, poisons will slowly drop the damage on him, drop the HP on him, sorry, and you're gonna get cleansing from Battle Khazar, getting some continuous heal, which of course later on can be transformed into a weaken if you're not playing it right, but this will be a massive challenge for all of us, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Probably you will agree. Some of you will feel intimidated by it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm feeling intimidated too, seeing all these skills. I'm like, my god, where do I start from? What do I do first? But I'm sure we'll be finding all sorts of different themes that will work for the majority of people. And how I mentioned, I think they said that this game mode will be released with 2 different difficulties to start with, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong and I'm dreaming it, but I think that's what they've said, you know. And this is nasty.
It's you know what? It's the way that I feel about it is like I'm scared and excited at the same time, because you know this is what made this game fun with everything it released. It's like you have a piece of content that it's so hard, you hate it, you're frustrated at the beginning, but the more options you start finding for it, the better it's gonna be. Like you don't want this to be just like, oh yeah, it's this team that beats this one and beats everything else. It's a challenge, and I'm 100% too, because we have an amazing community, not just us as content creators, but as players. I'm quite sure we're going to come up with several tactics to beat this, and I feel like everybody's going to enjoy it. Like, I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, 100%. See, they always get me. When it's new content, I'm always excited, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll stay the same. Then, the Scarlet Eclipse reduces the amount of healing that enemies receive by 50% when Amius is under an Eclipse buff. So again, he has these buffs, which we need to counter. You know, block buffs again will be our friend here. Ignores shield, block damage, and unkillable whenever Amius is under an Eclipse buff. So the only way to kind of like protect our champions is to put block buffs on him, so then we can use block damage or unkillable. And that would be pretty helpful, because right here, he's not removing the block buffs from himself with this form. So you can actually easily block that and have block damage or unkillable or anything like that to keep your team alive. And with the other form, he doesn't ignore shield, block damage, or unkillable either. So I feel like block damage and unkillable will be a very important thing if you have block buffs. Champions like Lydia again here will come in play. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a champion that puts block buffs unresistible. I can't think of anyone right now, but let us know in the comments down below, guys. Do you think we have anyone?
I don't know. There's almost 800, or I think we already passed the 800 champions then, but I cannot think, because you know what? We use it a lot for Hydra, but there's not too many that have it. So that's why I have no idea. I don't think there's anybody that does it as unresistible. So
yeah.
We're gonna have to look. One thing though that I want to mention, that maybe, you know, guys, leave it in the comments below if you guys noticed. I don't see where does he say how he changes form. I don't see it anywhere.
I know we don't. I don't think we have that on. I think he's.
How does he change form?
I think they're gonna use the skills based on the priority, and then he's gonna swap forms. Then he's gonna use all the skills and swap form, because you see they have 3 turn cooldown. So then he will be left with 1 turn to swap forms.
Yeah, because otherwise it's confusing. I'm like, okay, this looks that. I'm like, okay, so he never swaps? What's happening here?
He does. And here, guys, finally, whenever an enemy's cooldown is decreased with an artifact, accessory, mastery, or skill, instantly activates his A1 against a random enemy. So you wanna dodge that as much as possible. Yeah. And then they're just the passives. It's pretty much the exact same story with the passives. And yeah, I feel like the passives, they fill most of these pages up though. Like they're taking a lot of space, like, you know.
If you just put them one in one corner and just read the skills, it's like, yeah, he would have been mad. But he's passive. You know what? I find it that they did it a smart way of trying to eliminate the Kaimars, the Yumekos, that stuff that everybody uses just to speedrun stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not just, they didn't just do it like, oh yeah, he's immune. No, you can do it, but guess what? It's gonna hurt.
You. And it's the same with the Newt and other champions. Acrisias, multi-hit enemy max HP, they decreases from 10% to 5% to counter that as well, you know. So I think we're gonna see a lot of new champions coming in into the play here. But let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. And Odd, a pleasure to have you on the channel, bro. And guys, make sure you head over to his channel, because we're gonna discuss what champions will be awesome for this content. It might not be today, the video. It might be tomorrow for him, because I'm posting it today now that we're recording it. But yeah, guys, appreciate every single one of you guys watching. And Odd, if you want to fill us in with what's happening with your channel, what's happening in a real life with you.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm really happy that I could come back and collab with you. I'm always happy to collab with my brother from another mother, you know. And yeah, what's happening in real life? Baby on the way, still a few months to go.
Congrats,
Really excited
congrats.
about that. Thank you. I've been really focused on, on the Dragonet, kind of like you've been playing it as well. Really loved it. It's all because of this. Raid was too stale. So I don't hate it. I'm not just like, buy Raid. I was just waiting for something. And this is gonna be the thing that's gonna get me excited, and that's gonna make me be like, okay, let's pump Raid again. Let's have some more fun.
Yeah,
But yeah,
100%. I think this is what the players needed and wanted. I feel like Plarium will
yeah,
definitely deliver with this one, so I'm very happy to see, because it was make it or break it. That was
exactly.
the last straw here for Raid Shadow Legends. But guys, we'll catch you all soon in the next video. Appreciate every single one of you watching. Peace.